Folks, howdy, I'm back again. Yeah, the wind's kind of picking up. That little hurricane is flying through, but we're not going to get anything where I'm at. We're just getting all the wind and stuff. I think that's all we're going to get. Today's video, I'm going to maybe call it "Be Careful Who You Try to Screw. You never know when you will need them." When I did my update video, I talked about being forcibly or not given a choice to transfer to a different department due to downsizing. And in the end, toward the end of my time in my previous department, my manager at that time made some comments, and basically we were locking heads daily, and she basically kind of called me stupid without blatantly calling me stupid. And in case anyone wonders, yes, I do have that on audio somewhere. I could crucify her if I really, really wanted to, but I'm not going to. I figure she'll be doing it to herself. Because it's to the point she doesn't have really anyone strong to rely on. And that's just a blatant, cold-hearted truth. But this week, guess who's been called in to help clean up stuff a bit on top of my regular job? Oops, gave it away, me. And it's kind of funny how, you're not really all that smart. You're not the smartest in this department. You're not this. Like I said, she basically said I was stupid, but now I am the savior. Talk about eating crow. So yeah, keep that in mind. And I'm only doing this because my current boss asked me to, and she's really great. really is a great boss. I have no issues whatsoever. And I've learned some great things while in this current department. I'm working under the same vice president I was, but I'm finding out a lot of the horror stories we were told about him, the stuff he hated. All of a sudden, I'm starting to find out that those are not necessarily true. Like, we were told, oh, you have to sit straight up with your both feet flat on the floor. He really likes it. He don't like it if you slouch or cross your legs or anything. Come to find out, he really doesn't care as long as the work gets done and it's acceptable, acceptable quality and no real issues. That's my kind of guy. But, just be careful who you try to hoodoo. Because karma really does like to come back, and she really loves to stick it to you. And yeah, I know there's a good chance I'll get it for this video, but oh well. Any other little updates before I conclude this video? Not that I can think of. Aside from, I know a lot of people are looking at the hurricane right now, that Matthew. It's caused a great deal of devastation. Be sure and we'll look and see if there's anything I can do to help out with that. But aside from that, there's nothing really new going on to discuss. So, except for I like my job now. That's one thing to take from it is, they may have tried to punish me by quote-unquote demoting me. I think they honestly thought that. But all indications point toward me being you know, it's like having a ticket to go on the Titanic and at the last second having to get off, give it to someone else. That's kind of what I'm getting, because I've been hearing from people in other departments. They've been having a lot of issues with all this, and I think it's going to get worse than better. So, and you know, I hate it for the most part, for the people who are getting the shaft. But you know, there were a few people. All they literally would have had to have done was sit down, and if they're going to run their fly traps, you know, keep their mouth, you know, keep it down to where you couldn't hear it on the other side of the building, and they couldn't do it. That's literally what it accounts to. And that was, you know, that was an underlying part of it. And that was part of the issue why I butted heads with them, was because we would be told, oh, you have to be quiet, you can't do this, you have to follow the dress code, and you'd see people walking around in gym clothes when, you know, we had to be dressed up. Oh, you have to be quiet, and then someone would go around singing at the top of their lungs, and, you know, you could hear it 30, 40 feet away. And it's funny that of all the people that got moved, it wasn't the ones who were trying to do better, myself included, that got to stay. It was all, you know, it's the people who were, you know, there were people cutting up, people taking longer breaks than they're supposed to. They're the ones that got to stay, and the ones who actually tried to work, they're the ones that kind of got moved. And I'm not saying I was a model employee or any of that. I'm far from it. You know, I'm hard-headed, I'm stubborn. I'll admit it. Heck, I can even be a little bit cocky at times. So I'm not saying I was the model employee by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying I was the best. Matter of fact, I never said I was the smartest. I don't know why she said what got her on this. Tara, you're not the smartest in the department. You're not the smartest in the company. When I never said I was. And I think only thing I can think of is, I actually tried to find the answers. I know that's a big shocker, but if someone asked a question, I would find the answers. If someone told me something I knew was wrong, I would find a way to prove that I was right and they were wrong. I would defend what I was saying. And most importantly, when other people would come and basically tell me I was incompetent or making stuff up, I would look them dead square in the eye and say no. Then I would back up what I was saying. You know, in my mind, that's what you're supposed to do. And I know. Hark! How dare you! But I would like to say this. And I do plan on doing some videos on this. I do have anxiety issues, including social anxiety. Been diagnosed. Been, had counseling. I avoided the pills. I don't agree with those for the most part. But, there are circumstances they are necessary, but I think you're better off trying to learn how to deal with your issues, your stressors, and instead of just immediately taking the shortcut of a pill. Anyway, and that was disclosed when I was hired. And they pushed me until I was having anxiety attacks. And I'm not talking just, the usual panic, headache, or whatever. Every single day it was like pressure pushing me down. It was boiling hot. And it didn't get a release until I clocked out. But the big one was when I had actual chest pains and my left arm went numb. And I told her and I told my boss. And she blew me off and told me for a few days and then told me how I had such a bad attitude and I was the problem. When she lied to me and she said the work load I had was too much and then increased it by like 25%. Stuff like this. And she actually went to HR and told them how I was the problem and I was the one creating hostility when she was the one who was pushing my trigger buttons to cause me to have an anxiety attack. Like she had one person pushed to the point between her asthma and other issues, she had to go to the emergency room 3 times. One person was so stressed, he developed Bell's palsy at his desk. But I'm the problem. Or I was the problem. And I know she was trying to pack off all the issues on other people. I just think it's funny as all get out. She packed all her problems off that I was the problem. And in all honesty, I think tried to punish me. And now I'm loving it. I'm in a much better place physically, mentally, emotionally. I've actually lost a little bit of weight. Because I'm not stress eating like I was. And once again, I hate it for the people, the people who are still down there who actually tried to do good and they're getting slammed by it. But when I walk in there to get some of their work to take back to my new hole, it's a nice little cube in the cube farm with a window view. I'm smiling. People talk about how much I'm smiling and how happy I am. And it's because I'm not feeling like I'm being, forced into a ball in a 100-degree room. I don't feel stress. I don't feel pain like I was. And that bugs them because I am happy and they're miserable. And not necessarily miserable of their own accord. But I mean, what can you say? What can you do? And I do hate it for them. It's just, once again, be careful who you try to hoodoo. Because you never know when, like I said, you never know when you're going to have to depend on them to save your butt. Anyway, that's kind of long, and, I've noticed at this angle I have a little bit of a double chin going on. So I'm going to call it quits. So long, take care, sayonara, later.